Hey guys, Bring Me the Boa here, and kind of really excited to announce we made it to 25 subscribers, so I'm actually really happy about that. Made a joke about it in one of the other previous videos about how 5 subscribers ago was the first time, or not the first time, it was the second time I hit 20 subscribers. So I'm actually really happy about that, getting back up to into the 20s, 25. We're halfway to 50, guys. But anyway, without further ado, this video is going to be about Western hognoses. Those of you who know me and like have seen my snake collection will know that over 50% of the snakes that I own are hognoses. So I thought that the next couple of videos will all be kind of centered around them, talking about them, as well as do I think that they are good, if they're good pets or not, and which species I would recommend over others, things like that. Now, since I currently only have experience with 2 species of hognoses, the videos I'm going to be producing are only going to be about those 2 species because I have no personal experience with the other species. I am going to be doing a video about the North American species of hognoses later on, but it's probably going to be in the summer when I finally get around to doing that one, as I would like to have some footage of the Mexican hognose, which is the hognose species that's native to the southern part of the U.S., because then I'll have 50% of the species. And I will also try to get some footage from people with both of the other species. So the other 2 species that are in the U.S., other than the Western and Mexican hognoses, are the Southern hognose, which one of my favorites. I want to own one someday. Actually, to be honest, I'm gonna try to have a hognose collection, but I want to get some footage of the Southern hognose, which is one of my favorites. I actually want to try to help with conservation with that if I can somehow. So I'm gonna be looking into that as like a side project. But then the Eastern hognose, which is another beautiful species of hognose. They are the most variable in color, but today we're talking about Westerns. So these guys I have 4 of. So I'd say I have a decent amount of experience because I've had 5 of them total. My first one passed be about 2 years ago now. Jeez, it's about 1.5 years, maybe? No, it's 2 years. Wow, a lot of time has gone by. But yeah, that would have been 2 years ago. Jeez, but yeah, so the Hognose Morphs I have are, I have a normal. So a normal is what you'd see in the wild, or a wild type. She's also kind of a red phase normal, which means she has more red to her. The wild-caught Western hognoses can have yellows, browns, oranges, reds, and some greens to them. In captivity, those strains go by different names based on the color variant that they have. The red is just a red line. There's actually some purple line, which to me, they look like a darker phase of red, but when you combine it with other morphs, it really shows that it's different. But the greens come out, I think the green hypos are the green wild caughts, and then the yellow wild type is called a lemon ghost. And basically, it was a bunch of yellow ones that were bred to make yellow snakes, so the more you breed them together, the more the color is going to be produced. But I keep getting distracted, so I'll try to keep focused on what I have to show. A couple of my snakes are puffing, so I don't know if the camera will pick up on that. But here's the new guy. He was focus of the last video with snakes in it. He's in his little hide, looking out, guarding his house. Hi. So that slow tongue flick is him trying to get more of whatever smells are in the air to identify if there's threats or not. And see, I was going back to the quicker ones when he's getting closer to my finger. That's because he knows something's there and he's just like, okay, I'm just making sure it's still there. Now, I will start off with the wild type. So I'll actually, the 2 that are most common in the pet trade are the wild type and the albino. And that's because, like in terms of genetically inherited, like recessive and dominant, they are the first two that were produced. So I will cover them first, just because they are some of the more common ones. I believe Xanthic was probably also in wild populations, but trying to not complicate things too much. So these are actually my first two out of the four that I have here that I bought. This one was a gift from my girlfriend. I've mentioned that in a previous video, but didn't mention it again to give her a little bit of a shout out, just because she's just an amazing girlfriend. But so this is my wild type. Hi. Yeah, so this is Andromeda. She's the sassy one. She's getting bigger too. I'm actually really happy about that, but I'll get her closer to the camera so you can see a bit of her color pattern. But something that's interesting about hognoses is they also have belly patterns. So if you can see that, I'm hoping it's turning out pretty well. If not, we can zoom in on this. But her belly actually is black with yellow flecks on it. So that coloration, I've mentioned it in previous videos, but I'll mention it pretty much in any video that has hognoses in case people haven't seen those videos. That coloration is believed to serve one of two purposes. The first one being one of their defenses is to play dead, so when they roll over, it looks like decomposing tissue. So it makes it less attractive to eat. Second train of thought on why they have that coloration is they like to eat toads, and they have a natural resistance and tolerance to the toad's toxins that they have in their skin. And it isn't quite known whether or not they actually store the toxins or not, but that yellow coloration could be a potential warning to predators of, hey, you eat me, you could die. So I'm not entirely sure. I haven't been able to find anything on it. Not saying that there hasn't been information out there about it, but those are the two most popular things I've heard. But she's actually pretty chunky for her size. She'll be breeding size next year. But yeah, this video is just going to be talking about the morphs I got, and some morphs that I'm intrigued about, that I'm probably not going to even have pictures to show. So I probably won't do that. But so this was the wild type. On camera she's probably going to look just brown. That's the problem with some of these snakes, is they will come out just looking more bland than they would look in person. But so for the next one, it's the Albino Phase. So albino, I've covered it in a couple other videos, but in case you haven't seen those, albino is the lack of melanin, as well as a couple other pigments. So that means they are more receptive to light, which can be good and bad. But the reason why he's coming out this orange color is because he actually lacks the pigmentation to produce darker colors. So, hi, you gonna be sassy? Okay, yeah, hi. So, these two, see how she's brown and black? Like, her belly's black. His belly's actually see-through with yellow flecks. I'll get that up on screen because that's one of my favorite parts about the albinos. But let's see if I can get it here. He's much more cooperative than she is, but I am genuinely excited to breed albinos just because of that difference in coloration. Hi. But so that's just a comparison between albino and a normal. I'm going to be kind of using her as like a, hey, this is why this is different from a normal. Albinos are pretty obvious, and most people know what albino means. So I'll get on to the other two that I have, just so you can see. Because both types I'm about to show you are technically a form of xanthism, which xanthics are a trait I talked about in one of my other videos, but just to reiterate, it essentially is lacking yellow and red pigments. So this next animal that I'm about to show you, which Also, by the way, she took a meal for the first time in like a month and a half. So I'm excited. She's going to be gaining weight again, hopefully. But that's a struggle also about hognoses, I will mention, and I'll put it in the care video, and the other videos I'm planning on doing about these guys is they can go off of food sometimes, especially this time of year, since it's when they normally are hibernating. Because these snakes do not occur, well, they occur in Texas and New Mexico, but that's about as south as they're going to be, and they're not in 100% of both states. But without delaying any longer, I will show her. Alright, are you going to be a good girl or are you going to be sassy today? She sassed me a lot after she ate. Wow. Let's see, I'm going to try to show off her belly. So all of the yellow pigments, let's see if I can get it. All of the yellow pigmentation on her belly is actually like really, really faded to the point where it's almost white. And she's also the biggest western hognose I have. She's not the biggest hognose I have, though. But as you can see, she's a gray color overall. There's going to be a lot of comparisons between her and Talos, because Talos, since he is an Arctic is a form of xanthism, but it's a little bit different, and I'll get into that. Hi. But I'll show you guys side by side how xanthics and wild types are different. See how she definitely looks like she's gray, silvery color, and white, and how she is more of like a brown, red color, and she has yellows to her, especially on the bellies. Let's see if I can... Oh, okay. Well, I guess they're not going to cooperate for that, but their bellies, she has a lot of oranges and yellows. She has none. Hi. And then for the last quick comparison... Okay, this is her lid. I'll compare Talos to Andromeda, so the Arctic to the normal. And let's see here, and I'll explain a little bit of why it's different from your traditional xanthic. So here he is. He's the smallest, but he's also the youngest, so that's why. Hi. Will you let me take you out of your little cave? Okay, well, as long as he's out and you can see him. She just sat. But here is a close-up of him. But if you also look at his belly, you can see the tip of his tail. It's all black for the most part. There's a little bit of yellow markings here and there. That seems to be something that the Arctic has. And earlier I mentioned that hognoses actually do have patterning on their belly, and it can actually be an inheritable trait. Well, another morph of hognose, another color morph, another gene, is the anaconda gene. Now the anaconda gene is often shortened to conda, just so it's less confusing, but it basically reduces the pattern. I do not own any condas, but I hope to someday. But the belly on a super conda or a very well produced regular conda will be completely black. And so I'm hoping that someday I get to develop one of those. But they're very well known for their reduced patterning on a regular conda, and a super conda actually will have no pattern except for what's right here on the head, which is known as a head stamp. But it's right there. The coloration on the head from these little ear-like marks right here, everything behind that, no pattern. So that's why condas are really cool, because you can mix and match them. And honestly, condas and super condas are just so pretty. I've seen so many different super condas, and when you mix and match, it just looks so pretty to me anyway, because I don't know why. It's just the color, the lack of pattern, getting to see the base coloration of the animal. It just looks really cool to me. But some snakes also develop, that are super condas, will develop a stripe that goes completely down their spine, and that's actually cool to me as well. But hi, Andromeda. But I will compare these two because sometimes these get confusing for people because there are some normals that look a lot like Arctics. But as you can see, he has a lot more white to him than she does. She's a lot more brown. His spots should be a little bit tinged with like a green brown, like an olive green. But then another difference is that this morph, the Arctic gene, is, depending on how you want to phrase it, either incomplete dominant or co-dominant, like I stated in the video about him. So if I breed him to another Arctic, it will make a super Arctic, which those are gorgeous animals. They have completely black eyes. The patterning is completely different. They have increased melanin production. Just really beautiful animals. So that's actually something I'm going to try to do since I have him. I can breed him to pretty much any of the snakes I have now, and I will be guaranteed some Arctics. And he's also Arctic het albino, which means I can breed him to any albino baby I get, and I will be guaranteed albino Arctic babies. But yeah, so the Arctic gene is a gene that, honestly, it's a very, like, I don't know how to say it, because I was going to say out there, but that's not really the correct way to put it. It's becoming a lot more common than it used to be. Hi, you. But these four morphs, honestly, are staple morphs to the Western Hognose, especially in the pet trade. Sorry, her little sassing is just funny, but I really don't see them going anywhere anytime soon. The Arctics are just super expensive, well, compared to like a normal anyways, because they are just so versatile in how you can mix them with things, and the fact that you are guaranteed that a 25% chance, and sometimes you can beat the odds per egg of getting an Arctic. I've heard of some people getting a 50-50 clutch of 50 normals to 50 Arctics by breeding a normal to an Arctic. And the Arctic, I've heard from the man who found them, or found the gene essentially, JMG Reptiles, that they are super variable. And I know he's not doing that as just like a sales pitch. I've seen some of his Arctics. They are extremely variable. So yeah, I'm going to be getting one from him at some point, but it's not going to be for a while. But I've been talking to him for a couple of years now, and he's just a cool guy. But yeah, that's just it about the morphs. I'm going to do a real quick comparison before I end the video of an Arctic to an Xanthic, because someday that's actually going to be another potential project of mine. But I'm trying to keep what I'm making kind of on the DL, I suppose, is the best way to say it, because I don't want to be like out there about everything, then let's say I end up making a world's first of something. Well, then I kind of spoil it and someone can beat me to it type of a thing. But plus I also just, I guess, shouldn't make plans necessarily quite yet about what 100% of what I'm going to try to produce, because you never know what's going to happen. That's the wonderful thing about breeding. You could always get some sort of weird mutated gene that pops up and you're the first person, or it just popped up and it's a gene that's already out there, but you couldn't afford it and somehow you ended up getting it type of thing. God, genetics is just so interesting to me, and I can't wait to take that class. But here we go. So here she is, and as you can see, she's a gray color. I'm going to take Talos out of his little cave. God, you're just so little. But here he is. The Arctic is on this side, Xanthic's on this side. Now, size is not part of the morphs. I just want to mention that. He is just, I think he's maybe like a third of as old as she is, if not younger. But as you can see, there are some differences, but they both lack red pigmentation. But he has a little bit of green to her, and then the bellies are different. His is completely black. She has some of the patterning to it on hers. And so, yeah, they're just really pretty. I just really like Xanthics. I want to do some more with this gene later, but for now I'm quite content with just having these animals and being able to produce animals like them. But that's the end of this video. I'm going to make some more here later on, but they're going to be hognose related for a little bit just because I like hognoses, and you know, this whole YouTube thing is just kind of like a real passion for me, so I'm going to kind of get some videos that I want to make out of the way, or intermixed with videos that you guys end up requesting. So also, don't be afraid to request a video, as more than likely, I will take the idea, I will most likely use it, or I will take requests for videos, as long as like they're reptile, amphibian, or invertebrate related. I'm down to make videos about it. I have quite a few videos planned, but obviously I'm down to mix things in. This whole thing is just really fun for me, especially that I actually made it to 25 subscribers. To me, that's huge. I cannot thank you guys enough. But it's the end of the video now, and hope you guys end up having a great day, and well, expect some more videos on the way, because like I said, got quite a few ideas. Have a great day.